Once upon a time, there was a woman who went through some really hard times. She and her husband both lost their jobs last year, which was very tough for them. But then she got lucky and found a new job. This job wasn't as great as her old one, but she was happy to have it. The boss at her new job, a man named Gary, was very busy. Because he had so much to do, he asked another manager named Jane to take care of the woman. But Jane wasn't nice at all. She always told the woman to do lots of work, even when she was supposed to be eating lunch or resting at night. Jane also said some very unkind things about how the woman looked, which was really mean and hurtful. The woman tried to be strong and talk back to Jane, but that just made Jane meaner. Even though it was hard, the woman kept working because she and her husband really needed the money. Then one day, something really sad happened in the woman's family, and she felt very upset. That same day, Jane yelled at her over something small at work. The woman couldn't handle it anymore. She went to Gary and told him all about how Jane was treating her. Gary was understanding and kind. He moved her to a different team, which made her feel a bit better. But Jane didn't stop being mean. She kept bothering the woman, even in her new team. One day, Jane came over to where the woman was working and started saying loud and rude things right there in front of everyone. Gary heard this and told Jane to stop, but Jane just wouldn't listen. The woman felt so upset and hurt that she decided she couldn't work there anymore. She wrote a letter saying she was quitting her job. She also wrote down all the mean things Jane had said to her and showed it to everyone in the office. Gary, the boss, tried really hard to make things better for the woman. He didn't want her to leave, but the woman had made up her mind. She told everyone the real reason why she was leaving. After she left the job, things were very difficult for a while. Some nights, the woman and her husband had to eat just bread for dinner so they could pay their bills and take care of other important things. But then, something really good happened. The woman heard that a big boss from another company was coming to work at her old company. She knew this boss from before, so she sent him a message to say congratulations. They had a quick phone call, and the woman gave him some good advice about the company. The big boss liked her ideas so much that he asked her to join his team as his chief of staff. The woman was super excited and said yes right away. Can you imagine how surprised Jane was when she found out? During a big meeting at the company, the new big boss told everyone that the woman was now working with him, and she was in a higher position than Jane. Jane got really upset and sent an email to the big boss. She said some more mean things about the woman trying to cause trouble. But the big boss already knew the woman and trusted her. The woman had a long talk with the big boss. She told him all about how Jane was not a good person to work with. She showed him the letter she wrote when she quit and some other mean emails from Jane. The big boss saw that Jane was causing problems in the company. So he made the decision to fire Jane. This felt like a big victory for the woman. It's really surprising how some mean bosses can keep their jobs for so long. Jane was not a nice boss. She was mean to the people who worked for her, and many of them quit because of her. She even said bad things about them to other bosses. But in the end, everything worked out the right way, and the woman felt very happy about that. And that's the end of this big and wild story. It's amazing how some people can be so unkind, but it's great when good things happen to those who are patient and strong. In next story, once upon a time, there was a mommy and daddy, and they were very sad because they lost their baby Savin. Savin was a beautiful name from Ireland. The family was sad, and everyone was trying to help, except for Daddy's sister, Claire. Claire was going to have a baby, and she sent an invitation to a party called a baby shower. But guess what? The invitation said the baby's name was Siobhan. That made Mommy very sad, because that was the name she wanted for her baby. Mommy didn't want to go to the party because it made her feel even sadder. Claire called Mommy and said mean things because Mommy didn't want to go to the party. But Mommy was just too sad. Do you think Mommy was wrong, or was she right? Another story is about spending money. There was a girl named Emma. Her little brother, Noah, was sick with cancer, and Mommy and Stepdad needed a lot of money to help him get better. They even cut down on some things to save money. Emma's sister, who is 15 years old, had some money from her grandparents. She decided to spend a little on herself, like getting a haircut and buying a gift for her friend. But when Mommy and Stepdad found out, they were very upset. They said she should have saved the money to help her little brother, Noah. Do you think the girl did something wrong, or was it okay for her to spend a little money on herself and her friend? Next story is about keeping it together. Once upon a time, there was a kind uncle who found out that his brother's daughter was saying mean things about her dad on a podcast. The uncle watched a video where the daughter said she hated her dad and called him a bad person. The uncle was very upset, so he decided to talk to the girl. He met the girl and told her to move out as soon as she could because her father was not a good person. The girl's father got angry and called the uncle a mean name. Do you think the uncle did the right thing, or should he have done something else? Now we talk about hollow meat confusion. A girl cooked a delicious meal with chicken. She used halal meat, which is a special kind of meat. The girl's mom got very upset because she thought it was wrong to eat that kind of meat. The girl's aunt, who is Muslim, said it was okay. The girl's mom left without eating, and the girl felt bad. Do you think the girl did something wrong, or was it okay for her to use halal meat? In our next story, a boy discovered that his mom named him after one of his stillborn cousins. His aunt, who lost 4 children, never liked his mom because of the name. The boy found out that everyone in the family used a nickname for him instead of his real name. When he learned the origin of his name, he felt very uncomfortable and confronted his parents. They told him it was not a big deal, but he disagreed. He yelled at his mom for giving him a name that reminded everyone of a sad tragedy. Do you think the boy was right to be upset, or should he understand his mom's decision? In our next story, there was a girl who, when she was a kid, always wanted to go to Disney World but couldn't because her family was too poor. When she grew up, her fiancé surprised her with a trip to Disney World. She was so happy that she started crying. However, his family got annoyed and embarrassed because they had been to Disney World many times before. The girl tried to explain that it was emotional for her because she couldn't afford to go when she was little. Do you think it's okay for her to cry over the surprise? Or do you understand why his family might have been upset? So friends, what do you think about these stories? Was someone being kind, or do you think they could have done something differently? It's important to talk about our feelings and understand each other, right? Let me know what you think. In another story, once upon a time, there were friends living together. One of them, R, didn't drink because his family had problems with alcohol. The other friend, who liked to drink occasionally, asked R if it was okay before they moved in together, and R said yes. The friend's drinking habits were not causing any issues. But one day, R had an intervention with the friend, saying he had a drinking problem. The friend was confused because he drank responsibly only once in a while, and it didn't affect his daily life. They had a big fight, and the friend told R to stop projecting his trauma onto him. Now, they're not talking. Do you think the friend did something wrong, or was R overreacting? In another story, there was a best friend and his godson, Albert, traveling to a wedding with their friend Nick. The godfather got an upgrade to first class, but Albert stayed in economy. The godfather suggested Albert read a book to help him sleep during the overnight flight. However, when they landed, Albert hadn't slept at all because he was too engrossed in the book. Nick, Albert's dad, was upset that the godfather didn't make sure Albert got some sleep. He called the godfather an irresponsible godfather. Do you think the godfather did something wrong, or was it okay for Albert to stay up reading during the flight? We have interesting stories next. One day in Mexico, my kids and I found a fancy resort with a beach. We weren't staying there, but we noticed everyone from the resort had American accents and special towels. So we picked up some discarded towels and spent 2 days enjoying the pools. My daughter even made friends with someone who had a gold towel, and that got her free sodas. Always remember where your towel is. When I was 17, I went to a big meeting at MIT. Instead of staying for work, I found a packed room watching the World Cup. I started cheering for Brazil, and suddenly, I fit right in. People gave me free beers until Germany scored. In college, I went to a seminar at Columbia University about publishing. Afterward, I stumbled upon a law student seminar with free pizza. I was hungry, so I pretended to be a law student for a while to get some free food. Free pizza is the best. Once I took a camera to a concert, and they said I couldn't bring it in. I lied, saying I was with the college newspaper. I got a press pass, stood near the stage, and faked taking pictures. It turned out to be a great time. Even though I'm good at my job, I often feel like I shouldn't be there. It's called imposter syndrome. I doubt myself and wonder if I really know what I'm doing. During a winter break, I bought bus tickets for the wrong day. The company said I couldn't change them, so I got on the bus anyway. I fell asleep, and when I woke up, my friend told me they overbooked. Some people had to wait for another bus. Luckily, they left my bags and a few others behind, so I got them sent to me later. Being an artist manager means I have to act like I belong every day. Dealing with bands, promoters, and other professionals, I need to figure out how to act in different situations. When I started a construction job, I bought new gear and made it look old. Two other guys had shiny new stuff and got teased for it. I fit in better because I looked experienced. Once in Croatia, I joined a German school group in an aquarium. I just stood there like I belonged until a guide took me in to see some turtles. In college, during football games, parking was tough, but because of construction, I could use big trucks, and they let me park closer. Nobody asked questions because I looked like I belonged. After discovering I could use trucks to get onto campus without being stalked, I started testing my luck. 9 times out of 10, it worked, and I could park right outside the stadium. Having a clipboard, safety vest, and hard hat often granted me free access to go wherever I wanted. Despite being 6'2", I effortlessly blended into crowds and became nearly invisible. There was a time I accidentally walked into the wrong party, stayed for hours, only to realize I was invited to the one next door. Once, in a big party, they were throwing empty kegs into a big pile like cans at a BBQ. People were having a lot of fun, but when they found out I'm from Kansas and didn't go to Princeton, they weren't happy with me. So I started making things up about Eastern linguistics and astronomics to fit in. By the end of the night, I made up so many degrees that even I got confused. I'm 6'2", but I'm good at blending into crowds. I once walked into the wrong party and stayed there for hours. In 2006, at Lollapalooza, my friend and I didn't have tickets to an after-party where my favorite band was playing. But we went to the back door, whispered to act like we belonged, and watched the band on stage without getting caught. It was one of the coolest things our act as if attitude got us. We even ended up on the same flight home as the band. Being a huge Star Wars fan, I got to go to the Last Jedi premiere. Even though I arrived late because of a migraine, I joined a group with special access. I felt anxious, but no one asked why I was there. I got into the premiere without a problem, thanks to the group that didn't say anything. At work, even though I landed a good position, I still don't feel like I know everything. I act confident and pretend to know what's happening, and I think others do the same. Good enough for government work is what they say. Once at work, someone farted and we all laughed. Another person joined in, and as the new person, I tried to join for fun, but something else happened. The conversation then turned to Reddit stories about people having accidents or shouting. During a Princeton reunion, my brother's friend got wristbands, and we attended a big party on campus. We got in without a problem, showing that sometimes just showing a wristband is enough. In my early job years, the manager focused on other tasks without picking a replacement. So I started doing all the manager tasks and put manager on my cards and emails. Nobody asked questions, and I became a director in a global software company. Once, I found an outdoor fashion show and went to the photographer's area with not-so-professional gear. Even though I didn't fit in, no one asked me to leave, and I had fun trying out runway photography. How are these stories? Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section. Bye for now.